All right. And we are live. I'm here with the founders of one of my favorite companies, the company that I use to record all of my remote podcast interviews with, SquadCast, squadcast.fm. It is just a wonderful tool, sounds a lot better than Zoom and I'd say Zencaster. Also, just the ultimate must have tool for podcasters. And we're going to talk to them today, Zach and Rock, about how they grew this into what seems like a billion members at this point, a billion paying subscribers. Yeah.
Getting there.
Getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of great momentum, and
It's certainly trending up.
yeah.
Definitely. What was I talked to you guys on Growth Mindset University, say, geez, maybe 9 months ago now, or something, 8, 9 months ago, and
Yeah.
I feel like you guys have just infinitely more, exponentially more momentum at this point. I want to go back though, like something I didn't ask you guys on Growth Mindset University, I don't think, is that when you guys started, I think in 2019, right?
2018, I believe.
End of 2018?
Yes.
Okay, and like, so you make the platform live, like it's out there. Then how do you get how'd you get the first few paying customers?
Sorry, I think it was actually 17. Yeah,
Oh
we've
wow.
been at it. We've been at it 3.5 years. But we didn't.
Uh,
Rock's network is tripping out. He's in Watsonville right now, near Santa Cruz. So,
uh-huh.
um, sorry about that, but he'll be back. So,
He'll be back.
so yeah, we spent about 6-8 months getting our beta together, but we had kind of a launch at podcast movement in Anaheim.
Oh yeah.
And that's really where things got kicked off publicly. And then immediately, started getting feedback from awesome people like our first advisor, Harry Duran, who really for us just summed up, the community's voice in one person that we could talk to on a regular basis. And that was incredibly helpful. So yeah, a lot of momentum. Got to V1, I believe, in January of 2019. Yeah, January 2019, and then immediately rebuilt the front end application and launched V2 with things like you asked for, like full screen video and just improved user experience and design all around. And that launched in July. So within 1 year, we launched V1 and V2 within actually 6 months, but same year. So a lot of good momentum for us.
And I forget, you guys had some sort of, I don't know if you still have it. Was it a 2-week free trial?
Yeah. So when we first actually started, we had a 30-day free trial for a little bit.
You have to
Harry,
enter your billing information.
we've experimented. Yeah. So we've
tell us.
experimented with a few different things, and both Rock and I are students of kind of pricing and psychology for our type of business, which weirdly is something that most startups or SaaS businesses don't focus on. They spend a shockingly small amount of time on it. So we saw that as an opportunity to just be students of that and read a lot of research. And there's some great mentors out there like Patrick Campbell with Profit Well, who's a advocate for different schools of thought on pricing
Right.
and how they fit different businesses. So every startup is unique, so it's kind of really, really hard to give good advice here. So yeah, we've tried a few different things, messing around with like the length of the trial, payment info up front, payment info after, and also like ad hoc pricing versus like a subscription model. We've tried a bunch of different things. So where we are today is really, I think, the best fit for our customers and their kind of usage and behavior, as well as us to build a healthy company that is going to be sustainable into the future, because we are a self-funded company. So that is why we've always had a premium product, premium experience, and we've always had a price tag on it because of that experience.
what have you found to be most effective in terms of free trial with billing information or free trial without billing information? I think I can kind of guess the answer, but tell us.
Yeah. So, well, what's your hypothesis?
I think it's way more effective having the billing information being entered.
Yes, that has been our, we've been able to validate that. Although the data skews kind of 50-50 here, so it's really, I think it matters what your product is and what you're selling and what your value proposition is. It really is different for every business. So I've talked to other founders where the opposite is true, and they've found that really,
Yeah.
is better for their conversion rate, and more of the like the freemium style. I think that fits more with it. But ours is, a product with a clear value proposition where people walk away with something that they bought, and that being high quality studio quality audio for people all over the world recording together. So you walk away with those files. So, it's pretty clear what you're purchasing from us, and
Yeah.
if we did a good job, it's all very clear. So yeah, we've tried it both ways, and for us, it's payment info up front, and that messes with kind of the abandoned account versus like conversion rate and some of the other
That
things there.
probably is adds to your like cost of goods sold, if you will, too. Like just accounts sitting out there. I feel like does that make you have pay for more data? I don't even know how this stuff works, but like
No,
it
not
doesn't.
really.
Okay, good.
It's pretty just the account itself is kind of just it's like an authentication. It's like an authenticated user, but
Yeah.
we also we also reach out and re-engage with those folks and do some kind of questions to make sure, hey, sometimes they'll sign up, and we're getting better with our messaging here. Sometimes people will sign up thinking that we have video recording today, and we'll be like, oh, it's all good, we have audio recording, you can record the videos, there's ways to do that, but we're
Yeah.
working on that right now. So they're like, okay, cool, keep me posted, but it's not really, the timing's not exactly right, and that's cool too.
Selfish question. Hopefully, a quick answer.
Yeah.
A general timeline on that.
June.
June. Oh yeah, I'm pumped, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah,
change the
you got
game.
the scoop.
That's gonna be amazing for just my marketing strategy. Just being able to,
Ours too.
yeah, right, exactly. And you know, I'm like trying to figure out then how. Okay, first, did you have like doubts when you launched this product?
Ton of doubts. Yeah, when I mentioned podcast movement when we first kind of showed up publicly, I mean, we had a shockingly, we were completely assumption based in the beginning, and we're big fans of kind of the design thinking or lean startup methodology for going about how we build up confidence and things like that. And we had zero validation before then. It was just purely our own problem, and we were building our own solution for it, which is a really great place to start. But you should kind of sanity check that and get data from real people as soon as possible. And that's really what we did at Podcast Movement. And it took about 5 minutes or so. Of the event's 3 days long. So, as soon as we started talking to people, it was pretty clear that that this was a real challenge, a real opportunity to move the needle. People were not happy with the existing solutions not being built for creatives.
Right. Can we just? I was talking about this with Vince the other day when we were trying to fix an issue on support. He got on. He jumped in a session with me.
Good, right on.
And yeah, which is amazing. Vince has done that several times. Like Vince is handling support.
We always
Your
try to
brother,
make that
right?
happen. Yeah, and we've been growing our support team as we've been growing, so that we don't sacrifice that experience for people.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say too, what's great is like, you'll send a message in the support and it'll be like, oh, they'll be back Monday. Oh, they'll be back in 3 hours, and they're back and they're there in a minute.
Well, we check
I feel bad.
No, it's like we check it all the time, but we have some robots in there to just kind of greet people, notify them, and but if they're with SquadCast, I mean, every app is different, every experience is different, but for us, when people are trying to connect to record, that's a magic moment where like we need to step in and help.
It is.
And
Big time.
that's
You don't.
why.
The host doesn't want to waste the guest time. It's
No.
very very sticky situation.
But we're also, we're also humans who want to provide a good experience, and to do that we need things like sleep and water and showers and things like that, right? So that's why we do have support hours, but we just kind of say, we communicate that we'll be back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then yeah, if there is a timely thing, we always jump in and kind of push the robot aside and help out.
And I really appreciate that. Now, what Vince and I were talking about was just, I can't even believe, man, podcast. I was going to say SquadCasters. Ooh, that's a good one, man. Like,
I like
instead of
it.
podcaster, I'm a squadcaster. I'm not really a podcast. Like a podcaster, this is a traditional podcaster. Unfortunately, uses Zoom, and it's Eric. Eric is
For
a
now.
great guy,
Yeah.
who's the CEO of Zoom, and it's an
Yeah, they're doing
amazing
great work right now. I've been really,
Yes.
pleasantly surprised. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of empathy for anybody who's building, tools like we are, and we just have a different audience. So I don't even really think about it as competing. It's just,
But people don't get that. It's an amazing product. I use it probably multiple times per day. Zoom.
So do we.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But it's not meant for podcasts. The audio quality. I mean, it's great for business meetings. Great to just talk to people.
Yeah.
The audio quality is not going to be as good as SquadCast. It's just not. Like, this is a tool for podcasters, and it solves one problem. It's for one type of person, for podcasters, and
Yeah,
it's
we
just
try
my
to be the
biggest
best
pet peeve
in the world at that. Whereas
Yeah.
like recording is kind of a feature within Zoom, and who knows how much actual like love and attention that goes into it. For us, that's our reason for existing, is recording quality
Yeah.
content.
So
So, differences there. But yeah, we use, I mean, just like this tool, right? StreamYard is, purpose built for doing this well, and this is going really well. So,
yeah.
yeah, we there's, of course, some overlap in our technology and stuff, but we have some unique solutions that are patent pending that really
Oh
get us
yeah.
that quality. Yeah, as of December, we have 2 patents that are pending, and we're really proud of that. I've always been
On
skeptical of the patent process, but
patent
yeah.
on just the way the audio, like the way it's recorded, or
It's a combination of things. The first one is how we record and also simultaneously upload that in the background in that same source quality. So we call that progressive upload. So
Yes.
the progressive, that's probably what you've heard it called. So progressive upload is kind of patent A, and then patent B is our drift normalization solution. So to make sure all the timing and sync is not out of alignment or anything like that. So I'm still skeptical of the patent process, but it's something that we're really proud of if we can get those intellectual property. But for now, it takes a lot of time, so we're just starting that process as soon as possible.
Now, advancing, how, you get a little bit of traction after the podcast event. What was it? Podcast movement, maybe.
Yeah, LA.
And what? I mean, I'm picturing, you get maybe a couple hundred members, couple hundred customers
At the event.
Yeah.
No, we got one. Yeah, one customer, but we talked
Oh, wow.
to hundreds of people and got,
Uh-huh.
this was very, very early beta. I would call it even maybe alpha, barely working, and certainly not progressive upload, certainly not drift normalization or the reliability or backups or,
Yeah.
anything like that. It was just kind of,
How
hey,
long?
you can do this, and we're humans inside the box who are always happy to help. So,
How long did it take you to get to like 100 people?
ooh, that's a good question. So I would say a few months following that, because then we went home, we put our, buried our heads in the sand and just started working on the feedback. And there was so much feedback that it was like, all right, let's kind of chip away at this. All very positive and all kind of, affirming what we thought we believed, but, radical changes to our design, radical changes to our scope. We also had done the typical startup founder thing, and we started with this problem, of recording quality remote interviews, but then we extrapolated it out into this massive platform with, recording and editing and publishing and hosting and ad monetization and audience engagement and listening and reviews and, like all of this, basically what became Anchor. So, a very interesting alignment there. And there's been some other people. I mean, it's not that big of a stretch to imagine like YouTube for podcasting, right? Like, it's not that, doesn't take that much imagination, but we got some really, really, really good advice from our first advisor, our founding advisor, Harry Duran, who I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Literally at that event, we were telling him all of this stuff, and he just threw 99% of it in the trash and was like, nope, everybody else here is solving those other problems that you mentioned, or they're already solved problems, and your work would be wasted.
What were a couple of those things that he didn't think mattered?
Just providing a way for podcast like audience listening, like listening to podcasts and subscribing and having hosting and like a bunch of these other things.
So yeah, like Anchor stuff.
Yeah, just the whole umbrella, and he asked us, what problem did you start with? And it was like, well, recording quality remote interviews. We had crappier words back then. We weren't as articulate or well thought, well refined back then, but that was the gist of that. That was the problem that set us down this path, because we wanted to do a sci-fi audio drama with a remote team, and the vocals were really terrible compared to the sound design that my brother Vince, also an audio engineer, was working on. So that's kind of what set us down this path. And then Harry, it was just like, nope, be the best in the world at that one thing, which is really great advice. And we hear that all the time. I had heard that before. I think I had even read the book One Thing, but it was just until you get in these positions, you start. You kind of lose track of that stuff. So he was like, no, everybody else, all these other booths, everybody else at this event is working on those other problems. They're either solved problems already, or you're not going to catch up, or like, why waste your time? But the problem you started with, that is a legit problem. There is no good answer. If you guys think you can, do that well or better than anybody else, then just do that. And that's what we've been doing ever since. So to answer your question, we did that. We threw away all that stuff. We changed some design things. We got the app, more to like a stable beta, and then went to Podfest in Orlando, which was the following March. So we're talking August to March. We did a ton of work, and still had that one customer. I think we had like a few other people kind of trickle in here or there. Certainly Harry was using it a lot. Harry's customers, that was a great kind of sandbox for us to test things on. So thank you to all of the Fullcast customers who dealt with us in the beginning and worked through a lot of those challenges. Patience is very much appreciated. And then we went to Podfest, and that's really when things started to ramp up. And I think we got it was weird because people don't really sign up at events. They learn about things, they make connections at events, but then it's kind of as soon as they go home, they start to make kind of purchase decisions and really kind of have some time to chew on what they learned during that event. So this is not an exaggeration. We're standing in line at TSA at MCO in Orlando, and all of our phones just started blowing up just like immediately with these notifications of people signing up. So like, by the time our like plane was leaving the gate, we had like over 100 people sign up or something like that.
And what did it take? What actions did it take to get to over the 1 to 2,000 threshold? Anything different?
Oh yeah. So stability, I would say, is we tried a bunch of different things. Like we've tried different audio encoders, we've tried different ways of uploading that audio, kind of, and all of those things really necessitated us to develop the intellectual property that I mentioned before. Turns out there wasn't the style of upload that we do didn't exist, and we kept looking for it. We kept thinking, oh, this has to be a solved problem. Like, YouTube uploads videos like remarkably fast. Like there's something going on in there that we can learn from. And I did my internship on the Chrome team at Google, so I was kind of hip to some of the things that they were doing. But as an intern, you're not really like working with the computer scientists in like the R&D department trying to figure out how to upload, gigabit, 8K videos or something like that. But I'm very much a student of these things, and we tried many things, and it really necessitated us to just kind of go back to square one and rebuild it. And that was actually Harry's idea as well. It's like, what's happening while we're recording? Like, why can't it be like uploading in the background? Like, I feel like that would help, and it has a lot of benefits. Really, it's not just reliability. It's not just speed. It's many things that really solves a lot of problems. Kind of multiple birds with one stone kind of thing. Yeah, so that developing that technology and getting it stable. So we had kind of a false start again at Podcast Movement, but a few years later in Philadelphia, we deployed from the airport. Actually, I rolled out the first iteration of Progressive Upload, and we were going to launch it at this event. And we got a couple hours into that event, and then support requests started coming in from people who was working for most people, but there were some really gnarly problems that it was causing for some other people. And that really ruined that event for me. Not because of people hitting us up, but because I was like, I'm going to fix this, and only forward. That's what I kept telling myself, like, only forward. We're not going to roll back. We're not doing that. I've never rolled back a software update in my entire career. Only forward. And that was a mistake. I needed to roll that back. We needed more time.
Oh, man.
And I did that. So that was my own ego getting in the way there. So I apologize. We had backups built in, so nobody got burned too bad, and everybody was understanding that we were trying something new, right? So,
dude, you guys, every single session, whether it's recording or not, there's a backup recording of it. And what the heck? Kind of like,
it's another unique thing. I'm not aware of anybody else doing that.
Which is amazing. It saved me my ass so many times, dude. I'm looking, and it's got everything. Like, I'm looking at 239 recordings. We were just hanging out on SquadCast before this. 239. Like, how much does that cost you guys? Like,
it's worth it.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's and even if you go into a studio and record in person and all that stuff, the engineer is running multiple recordings that are separate signal chains if they're doing a good job. So for us, it was like, all right, we want to have at least 2 layers of redundancy, and for us, we settled on 3. So I'm a big space nerd, so I had studied kind of redundant systems design from the Apollo era and space technology, and kind of how things gracefully can fall back but still continue to work. And we it's a far cry from Apollo, like aerospace engineering and anything like that, but we're still engineering, but with software on the web. So we have 3 layers of redundancy built in to the app, and we don't charge extra for that. We feel it's our job to always deliver that quality audio recordings, and the same will be true for video. So all of this IP and R&D that we've done to figure out how to move around these giant audio files, that's all going to apply to video, including the backups and 3 layers of redundancy. So yeah, it's definitely worth it, because Guy Kawasaki, the first time is a friend of ours, and the first time he was interviewed as a guest on SquadCast, something happened with his network. Maybe it was a firewall, maybe it was a VPN, something like that. I don't know. Sometimes that can block certain network traffic. But anyway, a file didn't show up on the other side. And as you can imagine, the host was really rattled by that. But it's like, all good. We got your backups, and your biggest episode ever is still going to be published on time, and we can help with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some similar situations over the past year where I've been saved.
Yeah. And so it just runs automatically.
That's not going to happen on another platform.
No, and they're different. They're completely independent signal chains. So if something goes wrong with one, we have people's back, and we're really grateful for that. So that's not going to change. And really, I mean, if
Awesome.
anything, it's a bit of a liability for us to do that, and that's why there's a bit of a disclaimer when the guest joins, because of different laws in different places about call recording. But most people are all good, because you're coming to SquadCast to record audio that's going to be published. It's not really something that's going to be it tends to be public. We have some internal podcasts that record privately, and that's cool too. We do a lot of things for security, but you have to notify people that things are going to be recorded. But that is why you're
Right.
coming to SquadCast, so it's all good.
Now, one of my final questions, and I hesitate to ask, but I'm going to ask it. But and your out is, you can just answer by saying we have a lot if you want to take an out.
Sure.
Are we at 10,000 members yet?
So customers or
Yeah, I don't know why I'm using the term members, but customers
no, just being
must be
transparent.
approaching. We must be approaching.
I mean, we're flying fast. It's kind of remarkable, and it's surreal for us, because there are so many friends and so many businesses that are struggling in this kind of new economic situation that we find ourselves in. So to have been working on a solution to something like this, years in advance, our hypothesis was that, remote work, or work, is trending remotely, and businesses are realizing the value in that. Podcasters, to scale, to record in person, you're either going to travel a lot, or you're going to, which is expensive, obviously, or you're going to, need a remote solution. So that was more our hypothesis. We didn't think that that a global pandemic would really accelerate things. But
so it has accelerated things.
it's strange to say yes to that, but
I
it
imagined
has.
it would have. Yeah.
It's surreal, really. Frankly, there are things to be very grateful for within the growth of our business, but at what cost? I mean, we're just grateful that we can help people stay productive and not sacrifice quality, and we're doing everything possible to scale with that demand, including our technology, which is fundamental, right? We need to be able to meet the demand. But for us, we also care deeply about support. So, adding people to our support team, making sure that things are running smooth and still charging ahead. So that's all. I'm really grateful for all of that and everybody's support as we help. So, bigger customers are in the same boat. So we've had, and I believe I can officially say this now. We haven't done a great job of publicizing it yet, but we started working with ESPN about a week before the kind of stay at home order.
Yeah.
So that really, I mean, they went from
How do you get in front of them?
So there's an element of virality to SquadCast, where people interview other people. So those other people tend to be other podcasters or, related in some way. Not always, but, it happens enough.
I mean, whenever I get on with a guest and they're like, oh, I've never used it before, I kind of give them like the elevator pitch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, we both know Jordan Harbinger. That happened to Jordan, and now he's an advisor. That happened with Vox. That happened with ESPN. Kara Swisher interview from the Pivot and what is her other podcast? Oh, Recode Decode, are both within Recode as part of Vox. So she interviewed Deepak Chopra. She interviewed Andrew Yang, and Andrew Yang is starting his podcast. So not going to get into the political stance here, but he's starting a podcast, and this happened where he's using SquadCast now.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Just as an example, right, of this happening. And we don't necessarily like try to have that happen, but you're getting kind of a passive demo as a guest. And if you're interested in podcasts, then it's like, wow, how's this going to sound? And then the proof's in the pudding. So I think that's been, we don't really do promotion. We don't really do ads. We are just starting to kind of dabble with that, actually. because we've been able to grow organically through just the nature of the platform.
Excellent. Now, my final question, do you see yourself ever selling the company? Like, is that something you're open to?
Well, some interesting data here is, I'd be remiss not to mention that most businesses that are kind of online SaaS, consumer, prosumer, enterprise, this is, this is the typical path of exiting, um, that is not a failure. So, we've been at this over 3.5 years. We are bootstrapped, like I mentioned before. So we're building a healthy business, and that is we basically, because of the economic climate right now, we're not in a situation where we need to go out and fundraise to have another year of runway. So that level of sustainability is, it's critical for you and the rest of our customers to continue using the platform. But it's also resiliency to these kind of, economic waves that can happen. A lot of startups rely on that stuff, and, rightfully so. There's a lot of companies that need a long runway to even get a product out into the market, like something that needs FDA approval or something like that, right? You're just not gonna get a product out for a couple years. So, we know a lot of people in that world, and not knocking it at all, but we just kind of set out to see if we could bootstrap it and for how long. So, I'm really grateful for that. And I lost track of your actual question, so I'm sorry
Selling.
about that. Oh, right, selling, yeah. So, I don't think that's the goal. No, we are building a healthy business. We run it day to day and month to month, like we're going to IPO, and we take all of those, necessary steps to run the business in that direction. But I've also gotten acquisition offers in the past, and we've turned those
Already?
down. Yes, yeah, a few, yeah, a handful.
Will they
And
offer you $10?
you can make me an offer if you want. Just joking. No, we love our business. We love our customers, and being able to solve these problems. We still feel like we have a lot of good that we can contribute. Video recording. We announced a collaboration with Dolby Labs, and in a webinar last week.
Yeah.
And really excited about that partnership. Collaboration, excuse me. Partnership has legal implications. So,
Oh, yeah.
collaboration, and and then video recording, as well as other forms of collaboration. So the way we see it as defining a new category. Like, a lot of people compare us to Skype or Zoom. That is a fair comparison, but I don't believe those tools are built for creatives. They're built for connecting professionals. To have conversations, and it's kind of lives and dies right there. The conversation happened.
Correct.
It succeeded for everybody else, but for us, we see this as a new category of connecting creatives. Creative collaboration, or connected creativity, I believe, is kind of the working term that we're using. And that kind of definition removes the Skype and Zoom from that, because it's not a creative tool. It's a productivity tool, or enterprise tool. But we see ourselves more in line with businesses like Canva, or like Google Drive, or something like that. So I think that there's other businesses that are similar to ours, but for the most part, we see ourselves as tools for connecting creatives.
Zach, I learned a lot today, and I think a lot of people learned a lot today. And I appreciate you just showing people. You can see on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just showing people what SquadCast is looking like here on the as a member. Oh wow, this is trippy. Join
Kind of meta.
session. Yeah, very meta. Yeah, and it's a fabulous tool. I absolutely love it. And I'm gonna X out of that. Actually, I'm gonna stop sharing. But squadcast.fm is the website. People can connect with you here on the link. And Zachariah Moreno, you're the man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I wish we had.
Likewise.
I wish we had Rock. It's a shame we didn't have Rock here
Might
with us.
have been
But
tethered. So yeah, I think live is another level of network demand. So
yeah.
I will make a bit of a PSA. Everybody's network
Yes, go
is
ahead.
strained right now. So, give your ISP a call, send them some love, thank them for keeping you connected to the rest of the world, and, reset your router, things like that. Just be patient with the network, and then thank those hardworking people who are keeping things running and, connecting the world, because it's a bit of a weird time. And, now it's super clear to everybody how important the web is. And, I think before it was kind of seen as some kind of luxury item or something like that. But,
Yeah.
now public schools, kids are using the internet to connect to education, which is not a fundamental, human right or right in our Bill of Rights, but it is kind of an implicit right.
Right.
So, so I'm really grateful for my personal ISP here, internet service provider here in the Bay Area, Sonic. But don't just talk to those people in support when you need help. Send them a message and thank them for all the hard work they're doing. It's pretty remarkable.
That's a good message to share, brother. It's a good note to end on.